This is the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
It's been nearly a year since all of Michigan's constitutional offices were taken over by newly elected officials.
24-Hour News 8's political reporter Rick Albin's been tracking the progress of the state's new leadership, and he spoke to one of those people today.
You know, we've talked about how busy it's been in Lansing, and it's not just been for the legislature. It has been a busy year everywhere. Attorney General Bill Schuette, for example, has been involved in a lot of issues, from joining a lawsuit to overturn health care reform to fighting the spread of Asian carp into the Great Lakes. And one issue that the Attorney General has had to deal with more than once: the status of the medical marijuana law in the state. He says the law was sold as a way to deal with chronic disease and end-of-life issues. Instead, he says it has been, quoting here, pirated and hijacked.
People didn't vote to have dispensaries near churches. People didn't vote to have greater access of drugs near schools. And so the point is, when there's a law that was poorly crafted, it's caused lots of problems in communities. So my job is to interpret the law. And I think the real conclusion here is, if citizens of the state of Michigan want to have a discussion and maybe a vote or a debate on legalizing drugs, go ahead, let's have that. Now, I'm opposed to that because I think that it gives gateway drugs to kids. I think it and really would mean easy access for young people to get hooked on drugs. So I'd be opposed to it, but it's better to have a debate and discussion on it, be honest about it, and instead of look the other way and, you know, a nod and a wink.
The Attorney General will be my guest this week on To The Point. Schuette's efforts have raised the ire of some who support the medical marijuana law. In Midland County, the Election Commission has approved language for a recall, backed by at least one individual who disagrees with Schuette's interpretation of the law. In order to get that recall on the ballot, however, the group would have to collect more than 800,000 signatures between now and March.
Countdown to launch. It's the Medical Marijuana
Launch commit.
Radio Show.
Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Power clear. Roll program.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show is a production of the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. Hey. You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. Okay, Steve is the host with the co-host Denise. Starting at noon Saturdays every week. Yes, we keepin' you legal. Legislators and lawyers, doctors and the growers. The show is for the people. Michigan medical marijuana, no hassle. We talk about anything, any issue we can handle. Call us up and let us know what is on your mind. And make sure when you do it legal every time. Hey. You tuned in to that medical marijuana show. 855.
Hey, I got fix a couple of wires in here. Normally I get a chance to spring in and say, hey, you know, the show's going to be back live on 1310 this weekend. Denise is going to be back on the air. We're live in Detroit. It didn't work out. I had to wait until after the jingle was already in. There's a format to this program. I just broke it. It's, you know, no big deal. What are you going to do? Welcome to the radio show. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Here every day of the week, folks, grinding it out for you, keeping the faith, holding the torch so that we can light the feet of Bill Schuette on fire. That and maybe Eric Holder, too. Can we do that? Can we get Eric Holder in the mix? Is that an okay thing to do? Late getting on the show today, folks, but it's been a busy time. I can tell you I stayed up all throughout the midnight hour. In the wee hours of the morning, just like the shoemaker's elves, putting this program-y together for you. And I do it not because I enjoy losing sleep. I don't. I need my beauty rest. Trust me. You want to show me? I'll show you how ugly I am. Look, this is how bad I need the beauty sleep. Look at that mug, huh? Look at that. If you look at the screen, this isn't just a radio show; it's a TV one too. Look. Okay, we'll spare you the details and put the back to the logo, please. There we go. That's why I do the logo. We need a better set here. Can we build a set? Can we get a real set with a real desk, a real news person, maybe a couple of interns from the Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts? Maybe right here on the radio show, I could call over the Oakland University and see if we can't get a couple. Specs has been an empty barrel lately. It seems as though everybody wants some interns from the Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts. That's a great place, by the way. I would never spend my money there myself. I'm just saying, I didn't. I didn't go to Specs. And I had the opportunity to do that back when I was young. I didn't do Specs because I figured, the experience I was getting in the radio station was actually better than I'd been paying for out there. Specs gives you a certificate of completion for a technical training program. It's the same thing, I guess, as going to, learn how to fix a car. You don't get a degree, you just get a certificate of completion for a specialized field of training. There are some credit hours, I believe, that are transferable if you're going to go over to a real university. But unfortunately, Specs doesn't offer, apparently, and they should change this. They don't offer any kind of credit. If you're doing an internship, and believe me, we need help with this show doing with interns. And I'm not talking about gophers getting coffee. I don't even drink coffee. I'm not looking for that. We're looking for people who want some experience doing radio, who want some experience doing live stream. Look, I've done this for a very long time. Let me teach you. Let me show you how you can do this. Hell, I'm doing this out of the living room right now. And if I can do this and I know how to do it, why can't I show you the real practical world application of what some of this stuff does? This is the Medical Marijuana Radio Network. We're in a living room right now because we're in transition. We're building out a studio as we speak. Okay, we're still looking for a location. But you see, you get the point. Very shortly, we'll have a studio location, and we'll have a studio built, and then we'll have some people in there. Right now, we're actually doing this out of the location of a grow. I do a grow here. It's all locked up in the other room. So, access is limited. I don't like people on the property that shouldn't be here. Look, lo and behold, here call us my brother. Hey, Brian, we're on the radio. Hello.
Hey, well, I was just listening on your Ustream channel, and I couldn't pull it up, so I just wanted to make you aware of it.
You were unable to pull us up on the Ustream. Well, that's not a good thing. Let me just see. Let me just see if we can put. Hang on, I got you on the thing. I'm going to pull the Ustream up as we're talking here, just to see. Now look, it says we're live, so we're live. And
yeah, that's what it said to me too.
And then let's see if it's going to go. Da da da. You should start hearing some of the delayed speech if we're not having any problems. Maybe the Ustream's having trouble today. I appreciate the call.
It may be, but was unable to connect to the server of Ustream or be able to fetch the download or something.
Was unable to successfully complete. I don't know. We'll see here in a second. I've got the Ustream application loading up on the phone that I'm speaking to you on. So let's just give it a kick in the pants here and see what happens. So far, nothing. I've got nothing. And I'm going to put it on pause because generally it lets the buffer fill up quicker if you put it on pause. I've got the same problem you do. I'm not seeing it. If that's the case, I'm just going to, then I wonder if it's.
Just so you know, I had attempted last night.
Hang on. Listen. Quicker if you put it on pause. I've got the same problem you do. I'm not seeing it. If that's the case, I'm just going to, Yeah, no, I'm getting no problem. I'm there. I'm hearing the program.
Okay. On the mobile app, maybe having a problem. Just so.
Can you hear it?
I heard it last night, and I tried it last night. The mobile app was having the same type of problem.
Yeah,
so
no, I'm getting no problem.
Okay,
so hang on. Let me put that because you can't hear it, Brian. I've got the stream playing, and you're talking at the same time.
The mobile app may be having a problem.
So you can't hear it, but it's funny because we're doing a little feedback here. Let me put this on. Good God. Okay, so, all right, I got to pull the plug on this thing. Hang on a second. I don't know how we're getting that kind of feedback. It's crazy. I've got it on pause. Hang on, let me hit done. There. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was strange there for a second because I was getting the feedback of the program through the, there's a little bit of a digital delay because of the buffering there. But it seems as though the program is playing right now. Currently, I'm able to access it through my own phone. You're saying you can't get it?
Yeah, I have Android service. So.
Yeah, see, you may have I have an iPhone, and so my application is slightly different than yours. Perhaps the Android application is having trouble.
but I've never had a problem with it in the past.
When did you try tuning in? Because we just went on the air moments ago at 2 o'clock. If you tried tuning in just before that, we were in between streams. So
this was last night to catch up on your show yesterday, or your previous show, and I just attempted to do it again. So.
Well, actually, you know what? When I was streaming last night, and I'm glad you brought it up because it's one of the reasons that we do this show as a network. We're hitting the commercial break, Brian. So if you want to hang on for a second, the thing that I was going to say was we were streaming last night the Genesee Triple C Compassion Club show out of FlintTalkRadio.com. I was rebroadcasting that for them. We'll get into that in a second.Ing on, folks. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. If you want to call the program, 810-423-2350. Don't go away. There's lots more to come.
Steve and Denise will be right back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The law offices of Targowski & Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski & Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski & Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski & Grow, 800-957-1069. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402.
The Green Bee Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Green Bee Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Green Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Green Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Green Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Hell yeah, and happy holidays to you. It is the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Spent most of the night preparing some Christmassy kind of stuff for the program. It's just these rejoins, the musical rejoins. They're kind of cool. I like them. So happy holidays to you. Brian, my brother, was just calling the program, probably unexpecting to get me. He was tuning into the program impromptu, trying to catch up on what was going on. Do you know how you can catch up on what's going on? I'll tell you. If you've missed any of our programs throughout the past year, you can find them over on YouTube. It's the Big Voiceovers channel on YouTube. There's a link to it on the front page of RadioWeedShow.com. Also, iTunes. You can find us under Radio Weed Show in your iTunes podcasts. Just do a search in iTunes for Radio Weed Show, all one word, and you'll find us there. You can also find us there under Medical Marijuana Radio Show. It's just that we're the only one that pops up if you do Radio Weed Show. If you do Medical Marijuana Radio Show, you're going to get some other shows. There's only like the first 4 you can see on the screen. You have to hit See All Podcasts underneath. Click that link, and it'll open up a bigger window with lots of podcasts. Look for the orange logo. That's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show logo, the one that's on your screen right now. And then that's also the same podcast. So this very program will be up there a little bit later today, provided that the crazy computer doesn't screw up. Yesterday's program's not available. It's lost. It's a lost episode. Oh, that makes me mad. I'm going to have to find another way of recording the program separately because the program that does, all the graphics and all the video end of this, the part that says Vid Blaster up in the upper right-hand corner, that's the program we use to stream this show with. At least it's the program that does all the video switching. And the reason I'm telling you this is because that program, at the very end of the program, after we go off the air, I have to save the program. And because it's been recording, it's recording on the hard drive here. In order to keep that program, if I close down the VidBlaster software, the program disappears. It's gone. It's not retrievable. It's just like you erased your videotape. So what I do is I save the program in a file type immediately. And I've been saving it in one file type. Well, there's a file type that needs to go up if you're going to put it on iTunes, and it's the QuickTime file type. It's .mov. And so I started saving it as the QuickTime format. And the last 2 times I did that, if I try and directly save it to that format, the software freezes up. It freezes the whole computer. Not immediately, but like after it's done doing its encoding thing, which takes a couple of minutes, it freezes the computer up. Oh, it makes me so mad. So it did that yesterday, and I had to reboot, and there was no show. Gone. Nothing to list on iTunes. Not retrievable. I was so mad I almost did the show over again. Imagine that. So welcome to the program, 810-423-2350. Folks, it's going to be a jam-packed show. Normally, on the weekend show on 1310 AM, Detroit's Progressive Talk, WDTW in Detroit. It's a Clear Channel station. When we do that show on Saturdays, it's only a 1-hour show, and it's packed. It's so packed because it's just a 1-hour show. There's only technically about 40 minutes of talk time there. So to get the guests and advertisers, everybody squeezed in there, it just goes so fast. You don't even see the time go by. Pretty soon, the show's closing. God, here we are saying goodbye again, waving our hands like it's the Mickey Mouse Club. All done. And it's an expensive venture to do, don't get me wrong. Doing that 1310 show costs us dearly every week. And so we're going to find a way to answer that question because it's not getting handled with advertising. I'll tell you that right now, especially the lack of having a Specs Howard person in here helping me out with some of the programming. Does it have to be Specs Howard? No. We'll find some other people. Are you interested in helping out with the show? I've got a lot of other guys that are interested in helping out with what we've been announcing, and this is part of what's on the program today, is this crazy thing with the Medical Marijuana Achievement Awards. It's a brand new thing. It's brand new this year. We decided to do it because people need recognizing for what they did. I think it gives people a reason to next year want to do more, to have some healthy competition amongst each other. How much political capital are we going to raise? It's I suppose if maybe let's give me the newspaper boy example. If you're the newspaper boy and you're just out there delivering papers on your own, it is what you make of it. It's kind of like the Army. You get out of it what you put into it. But if you've got another newspaper guy on the corner block and you guys can have some healthy competition between you, I'll bet you that your sales go up. I'll bet you that, you end up making more money because of that healthy competition than you would have otherwise. And that's what I'm looking to do here. I'm looking to get other guys to start doing what some of these guys have already done in these past few years, the right way. Look, you don't just spring open a club somewhere. You don't just bounce open a dispensary. You don't just pop up and surprise everybody. What you do is you go and you knock on doors and you say, hey, Mr. Neighbor, I'm your neighbor. Well, I just wanted to say hi to you and get to know everybody. Here's what I do and here's what's going on. Hey, we're looking to raise some food for some hungry people in the area. Do you know anybody that can help us? Or I tell you what, we've raised a bunch of food. Who can we give this to? Where can we deposit this? These are the kinds of things, and the food thing is just a quick, easy example. It's the low-hanging fruit, but I'm telling you, there has been political capital raised all over the state. It had to happen this way in order to get some of these places in that are, part of the medical marijuana distribution network as it relates to anything in the program. And I'm talking about the medicine itself. I'm talking about everything that makes the medicine go round, all that stuff. There's a whole huge host. There's a synergy, a dynamic that, oh, my goodness, the business. It starts with the grow shops, and it goes on down. The home gardening centers begin it. There's employment there. There's money there. There's, mortgages are getting paid there. Then it goes to the landlords, and then the dispensaries and the compassion clubs and there's money being spent. There are storefronts being built. And it's not, again, about distribution of marijuana, like Mr. Schuette would like to label it. This is about employment. This is about, guys, if you're a certification clinic, you'd have nothing to do with the drug itself. You're just certifying people with a doctor. But you're still employing people. You still got a storefront. You still got a brick and mortar. There's still money being invested into that community where the building would otherwise have gone to rot, maybe into the decay and foreclosure. Do you want to end up like Detroit? How many buildings in this city are completely picked through by the crackheads trying to extract the metal from the building? All the pipes and the copper are gone. Try and sell that house again without tearing it down or without condemning it because it's structurally uninhabitable. They had to rip the floors out in order to get the wire out, in order to get the piping out. I mean, is this what you want? Because that's the alternative, guys. Big industry ain't coming to save this right now. It's a long, slow process. And certainly aren't saving some of these storefronts on Main Street. They might be buying some property somewhere and building an auto plant, maybe, someday in the future. Building, some manufacturing is coming back. Thank goodness for those people at ABC doing the whole, Made in America thing. Please buy American. Stop sending our wealth to communist China. Did you remember those guys? They're still the red Chinese. They're still the guys in tanks rolling over people in Tiananmen Square. I mean, did you forget about this stuff, America? Every year we send billions of dollars to China. They're rubbing their hands together right now over this and then putting together their nuclear programs. Don't tell me this is a good policy. Most favored nation. My ass. I'm sorry. I like my Chinese brethren, but not when they're pointing guns. Not when they're doing the kind of political torture they do on people. Not when people disappear in the darkness of night and show up in prison cells that nobody can find. I mean, and here's what's even worse. With as many people as China has lighting a cigarette. With as many people as China has, they still have a better prison record than we do. We still lock up more people per capita than any country in the world with our nonviolent drug war. Nonviolent, my ass, those are real guns pointed at real people, and it's not a war on drugs, it's a war on people. Oh, don't get me on my soapbox. I feel the soapbox getting pulled out. Put that thing back away. I'll never get down off of it. You get me on the soapbox. I'll be yelling Billy Bong from here until the end, the cows come home. Speaking of Billy Bong, and I got to fix this because I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I got late-breaking word back that the thing keeping the Billy Bong song from being released on iTunes is not the thing I thought it was. It's the artwork. And it's not that they didn't like the artwork. It's not that they're trying to edit the artwork. They're just saying it's not, when we kind of mishmash this back into the format that we got to redistribute it in. Because, mind you, this Billy Bong song is going to many different distribution points. Incidentally, you can find the Billy Bong song on iTunes shortly. As soon as I get the artwork. And it's not just iTunes. I mean, Rhapsody, if you want eHarmony, all this, any music site, pretty much. I'll give you the list later after the next commercial break. I'll look up but you'll be able to buy the Billy Bong song for 99 cents. Merry Christmas to you. We're working to end these conflicts. And, did you hear the beginning of the show? Shut up, Scooter. Scooter thinks he's the star of the show. Okay, I'll just take the time out for you, Scooter. Come on, hang on. No, I'm not. Yes, okay, yes, I am. He's the cat. He's the king of the house. Out you go. Damn. One's in, one's out. It's a freaking revolving door of the cats. I swear to God, I'm going to turn into an old lady like The Simpsons. People are going to come trick-or-treating at my house, and they're going to expect candy. I'm going to throw a cat at them. I hope I'm not that guy. Look, when it comes to this thing about Billy Bong, he's our attorney general in Michigan. It's not going to stop. I'll tell you what. Let me just kind of wind this back a half second, because I said a lot, haven't I? If you don't call, I can fill the full 2 hours with my own voice. It's not a problem. My brother and I were just discussing this during the commercial break. It's not a problem. I can go on. I can talk to myself all day. I'm not talking to myself. I'm just saying if you don't call and participate, and I'll tell you what, my brother was like, look, I got this guy. He's a friend of his. He doesn't want to be identified. He wants to call your show. He's got all kinds of great stuff to talk about. And this is how most people are with this program. They want to call, but they're so worried about being identified. Look, it's not the Mr. X show, but if you need to be Mr. X when you call the show, I'll make you Mr. X or Mrs. X or whatever you want to be. Nobody said we got to identify you or necessarily even where you're coming from. Give me a city. Hey, this is John in Bay City. Hey, this is Mike in Albuquerque. Hey, it's Joan in L.A. I don't care. Your name may be Fran. It might be Mark. It doesn't matter. The name is just a name. The story is what's important. What you share is what's important. So the Billy Bong song coming up on iTunes, Amazon.com. I think it's Amazon MP3. Isn't that what it is? There's a bunch of them. As soon as I get the artwork fixed, you'll have a taste of the Billy Bong song. Working on also, now this song I'm not going to distribute on iTunes. And there's a reason for it. I shouldn't have even put the Billy Bong song out there. I've been told no, I can't do it. The people that make the music for me that I put the lyrics to said we can't allow third-party use. That means because the music I pay for to add stuff to, it's what I use my commercial music with. But the people that own the rights to that music told me no, because I checked with them. They're like, no, we don't allow third-party use of our content. What that means is that I can add to their music and play it. I can have a use of the music. I've got the music. I paid for it. But I can't add to it and then let you have it physically. I can play it for you here on the show, but I can't let you physically have it. That's third-party use. It's a clever way of limiting distribution of that music. So what we're going to do with the Crackpot song is find new music, and then we'll release that on iTunes. There's nothing I can do about the Billy Bong song. It's already been released. I can't stop that. It's already been done. If they want to go back and whatever I got to do, I can't fix that now. It's already been done. So as soon as I fix the artwork, you'll be able to see the Billy Bong song in your iTunes, or just look for the Billy Bong song. Google it. You won't find it yet, but I'm telling you, as soon as I fix this artwork, it's going out. So that's that part. Now, as it relates, the Medical Marijuana Radio Show has put together the Medical Marijuana Achievement Awards. This is an annual event. This year, you can make nominations. There are no categories this year. We may have some categories next year. This year, there are none. It's a wide open thing. Where I guess at this point, not looking to nominate businesses or clubs or organizations, we want to nominate people. People make the world go round. The clubs and these places, they're all made up of people. So if you want to nominate a club for something they've done, or a dispensary for something that they've done, find the person that runs that club, find the person that runs that dispensary, and nominate them. For now. Next year, it may be a little bit different. So it's a $25 nomination fee to get in on this. And that's the only cost involved. It's just a nomination process. That way people aren't nominating Daffy Duck and, whoever. At least you're serious about your nomination. If you're going to spend $25 on it, we'll put them up. If you want to nominate Daffy Duck for $25, we'll put the nomination in there. I don't think Daffy's going to win. But we'll take your nomination if that's what you want to do. You can do that on the front page of RadioWeedShow.com. Not quite yet. Originally, we were putting some categories up. We're getting this straightened back down to one open category. It's just everybody. No particular grouping. And you'll be able to do this, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you should be able to do this live beginning tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 9th of December. That would be Friday. So, and then there is going to be a group of people throughout the state, a cross-section of judges throughout the state, and in the tens, probably 50, 75 guys, that will be given the ballot of nominees to vote for this year's Achievement of the Year Award for medical marijuana. And we'll announce that. The people who are nominated can come and get their certificates for being nominated. We'll talk about what they did at the achievement ceremony which is going to be January 29th at the Clarion at 1 p.m. That's a Sunday, January 29th, 2012. At the Clarion, and that is 2900 Jackson Avenue. That's Ann Arbor, Michigan. I think it's 48106. I believe it's 48106. So that will be in the auditorium, the same place that we did the Michigan Organic Solutions event in August. If you were there in August, you're familiar with that location, that stage. If you're not, please join us. And in the event that you can't join us, we'd like to have you nominate somebody anyways. And we don't care what state you're in. If you're in another state, we'll let you nominate. And we're gonna. You can see your nomination lineup. Maybe you don't want to fly out here to be, in the audience to get your certificate. We'll have to mail it to you. If you're in another state, we could, I could see how that would be a thing. But you'll be able to watch it live right here on RadioWeedShow.com. Just like we carry this show to you this way, we'll be putting the program on live with multiple camera coverage. We'll have a host. If we're lucky, we'll get a comedian, maybe somebody else in there to entertain. It should be a real, real good time. And it'll give you a chance to network with all the people who've done something, the people who voted for people. Look, I'm looking forward to this because I'm going to meet so many great, awesome people at this event. And look, the stage itself is, at least the audience, isn't limited to just those that have been nominated. If you want to bring somebody to that stage as well, mark your calendar for January 29th, 1:30 p.m., Clarion, 2900 Jackson Avenue, Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48106. I think it's, I don't know. The zip code doesn't matter unless you're plotting it on the GPS, does it? So we're going to talk a little bit about that structure and getting people nominated and what the process of that is. If you want to call the show, remind you one more time, 810-423-2350 for the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Got something to say?
Call now toll free, 855-MMRN-radio. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Greene Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Collective.
The details are sweet at MMMGreenBee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. It's the holiday season when we look back in our lives, when we're spending time with our families, where we look back and appreciate the things that have happened throughout the year, and then look forward to the things that are coming. So it's in that spirit of the holiday season that the Medical Marijuana Radio Show proudly announces the first annual Michigan Medical Marijuana Achievement Awards. This is a time where you can honor somebody who's rolled up their sleeves and done something good for the community. The Achievement Awards are a fundraiser. Go ahead, do it right now. Nominate a friend for an award at RadioWeedShow.com. Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. Medical Marijuana Certification. And now you can find out everything you need to know online at getpotid.com. Or write down this toll-free number, 855-DOC-CERT. A friendly specialist will direct you to our Farmington Hills office. Medical Marijuana Certification. GetPotID.com. It's the key to getting your card. Information, resources, and in the end, if you're qualified, a medical card. Call toll-free right now, 855-DOC-CERT. That's 855-DOC-CERT. It's GetPotID.com. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect But if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Groh. Targowski and Groh have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Groh toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Groh, 800-957-1069.
Well, this music is not conducive to the news I have to pass along to you at this moment. I was just catching up on the email during the break, and the holiday Christmas music is just not conducive to what I got to tell you. It's not the best news. It's not the worst news. It's not even necessarily really, well, I guess it is new news, isn't it? I do want to wish you happy holidays. Look, I spent all night last night working up this holiday music and theme for you. For the rest of the Christmas season, we'll be playing some holiday-themed stuff. Why not? I've always been joyous at this time of the year, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever it is that you do celebrating family life during this time of the year. I like enjoying that spirit of breaking bread with our neighbors and our friends. It's such a cool thing. It's an awesome tradition we have as Americans in this country. And it's one we should hold close to our hearts because, although, the holiday season is worldwide, in America we have Thanksgiving, and we just really warmed this up, I think, for the rest of the world, aside from the fact that we've commercialized it, which is another whole thing. But the news I have to share with you, during the break, like I said, is more conducive to this kind of music. Can we play this music? Is this a place? Oh, God, this isn't. They didn't even give me this. Can we do something? Oh, let's try this. Maybe this will work. Because this is the kind of music I should be playing. This is Amazing Grace. They play taps all the time. And this is what I want to say, reading this to you now. Because this is the kind of music should be playing in the background as I read you this news. It says, after Chesterfield Township and the Michigan Attorney General's office won the legal battle to shut down dispensary operations at Big Daddy's Hydroponics, the controversial business said Thursday it's leaving Chesterfield Township. Within the next couple of weeks, hydroponic supplies will be moved to different Big Daddy's business buildings, and the township business, along with its currently closed medical marijuana distribution center, will seek to relocate outside of Macomb County. We will find another community that's friendly to us, Big Daddy spokesperson Rick Thompson said. We can't stay where we're not wanted, even though the people wanted us. The police did not. The court ruling would have allowed the business to continue selling cultivating supplies and equipment at the business on Gratiot between between 23 Mile and 24 Mile, but Thompson said the warehouse-sized building is far too large for that alone. The business is not determined where it will reopen. However, it does not believe another Macomb County community would welcome it. Big Daddy's has found more success in Genesee County's Burton, where it's gone recently, and where it is one of multiple dispensaries in the city, Thompson said. It also has another building on Mack Avenue in Detroit across from Grosse Pointe Park. I can get rid of the music now. That will be the new headquarters for the Michigan Medical Marijuana magazine that's been housed in Chesterfield. Thompson, the magazine's editor, will work out of the Burton office, he said. So that's a heck of a drive for Rick. Oh, poor Rick. That's a long way to drive for Rick. Battle to close Big Daddy's attracted Attorney General drew protests. Macomb County Circuit Court Judge John Foster's November 30th ruling for Big Daddy's to shut down its pot distribution portion of the business came as a shock to owners and shareholders since legal briefs were not due by then, and oral arguments were scheduled for later this month. It doesn't really seem as if they've given due process to this issue, said Thompson, suggesting that the Attorney General Bill Schuette's involvement sped up the process. In his ruling, the judge stated the dispensary was not protected under the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act because the act, quote, does not permit qualifying patient-to-patient sales, but only transfers between qualifying patients and primary caregivers who are connected through a registration system. Foster was quoted in a December 5th article in the Macomb Daily. Defendants are not entitled to invoke any community any immunity offered by the act. So there you go. Big Daddy's pulling out of Chesterfield Township. I'm not going to read the rest of the story for you. It's a little bit longer than that. And would require you listening to me stumble through a first read piece. So that's the breaking news there. Can we kill the taps music now? Because let's just put it up. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the wonderful taps buglers at our nation's Arlington National Cemetery. Big Daddy's going down today. As a result of that court decision, they've decided to leave Chesterfield Township. So there you go. That's what you get, Chesterfield. All these people out there in Chesterfield Township no longer have safe access. If you want medical marijuana out in Macomb County, it looks like you got to go back behind the dumpster, or where they just as soon arrest you. So, here's another story. This is in Westward. Oh, God, this stuff comes across the wire, and I can't help but read it to you. This is more breaking news. Medical marijuana patients pulled over by cops talking their way into jail? So you're a medical marijuana patient, the story says. And a police officer pulls you over. He says he smells pot. Let me get rid of this crazy... Can I get rid of the newspaper ad? And they put the ad right in the ads go right in the email now, right over the top of your stupid story, of your article, of your email. The officer pulls you over, says he smells pot. So you immediately show him your ID card and talk about how long it's been since you've medicated. Smart move? I can tell you right now that it's not. Look, I'm not even going to read the rest of the story and just tell you right now that any attorney worth his salt will tell you if you have an encounter with the police, don't offer them anything more than you have to. In fact, you should be asserting your, privileges almost immediately. As it relates to your pullover, this is what I would do. This is just me. I'm not an attorney, so I can't offer you advice, at least legally. But if you want to follow my lead, this is what I would do. If I encounter a police officer, first off, I'm not going to smell like pot in my car. It's just not going to happen. You're a fool if you get in your car and you smell like pot. You're asking for it. Hello? Ring-a-ding-ding. Why don't you just walk into the bank with a gun? You're not going to use it. It's the same thing. They're going to get you. Duh. So don't smell like pot when you get in your car. But in the event that you don't smell like pot and the cop says he does smell pot, it's all a trick. He's trained to extract information from you by saying certain things, getting you to respond in certain ways, getting you to respond as a human, as a human being. You're kind of have a propensity to do things in certain ways, respond to certain stimulus. And this is what he's trained to get out of you. So he's gonna start picking this apart, and you don't want to show him your pot card. Don't show him your medical marijuana ID. You do that after he's found the weed. You see? And then, even then, you want to be really, give him your numbers. Here, run this number, officer. I know you just leave me my ID to myself. Here's my numbers. You just run my numbers. You need the card. Here's the stupid card. Not giving you a right to record a bunch of crap off of it. In fact, if you're going to record stuff off of it, I'm going to videotape you doing it because I think what you're doing is crazy. I mean, okay. I would not engage with the police officer in this way. You got to be nice to him. But you have to assert your privileges. You have to say, look, if he starts asking you for a bunch of stuff, officer, what did you pull me over for? Stick to that. If he says he pulled you over for a cracked taillight, then let's stick to the taillight. If he starts asking about all kinds of stuff in the car, you say, officer, I'm not going to consent to any search or any seizure, any kind of this kind of stuff. I'm asserting my privileges as it relates to the taillight. Write my ticket and let's go. If I got to have a ticket, give me a ticket. If I've made a mistake, let me pay for it. But you're not going to go fishing for information here. You don't say this. You just assert your privileges. Look, I'm just going to assert all my constitutional privileges at this point in time. Is that okay with you? I'm just going to assert my privileges. If you want to talk to me, you should get a lawyer. Don't question me without the presence of my lawyer. he's not always going to be good to you. If you're just getting a ticket for a cracked taillight, then get the ticket for the cracked taillight. But as soon as you start asserting your privileges, he's going to start going deeper at you. He's going to try. This is what they're trained for. So, close your lips, because loose lips sink ships. That's what they say, and it's absolutely true. Barb Agro is, partly her own demise there. She should have been telling people about her grow at home, and she wouldn't have been raided. I'm not saying that it was Barb's fault. I'm just saying that, the police wiggle their way in, and that's how they do it. Most people who are in prison right now are there because of their own mouths. Shut your lips. Clam it up already. There's a way to do this. Follow your lawyer's advice. Seek it when police want to question you. So I'm going to finish the story now, because they're going to say the same thing here. So the cop says he smells pot, and you immediately show him your ID card and talk about how long it's been since you've medicated. Smart move? Not according to ex-judge Leonard Freeling, who says this approach will likely result in a one-way ticket to jail. And I would agree with the ex-judge. As we pointed out in the profile linked above, Freeling is a former municipal court judge for the city of Lafayette. Now, this is obviously not here in Michigan, who quit his job in 2007 over marijuana policy. Hey, there's a guy with some balls, some salt. Let me elect this judge. I wish he was our attorney general. Might actually be standing up for people. So, now he's a Boulder-based criminal defense attorney, a cannabis advocate, and and a member of Law Enforcement's Against Prohibition, a national organization that backs the regulation of marijuana like alcohol. So they want to back the Regulate Marijuana Like Alcohol Act of 2012, for which he and fellow LEAP rep Tony Ryan collected signatures last August. Now, it says this evening at 7 p.m., this would be Mountain Time, Freeling will be conducting a live teleclass. Oh, boy, I'm going to have to put this up. Now that I'm finding out about this, it makes me want to tape it. It makes me want to record the show and play it back for you. This will be, what date does this say? I'm going to have to check the date on this, because if the date on this matches up, I'm going to go ahead and record this seminar and play it back for you on this very program. So there's more to come up, folks. That was the breaking news. Had to play the taps for you over Big Daddy's. I'm sorry I had to do that. More Christmas theme coming up. Happy holidays to you from the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.
More of your calls next on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Medical marijuana certification. And now you can find out everything you need to know online at getpotid.com. Or write down this toll-free number, 855-DOC-CERT. A friendly specialist will direct you to our Farmington Hills office. Medical marijuana certification. GetPotID.com. It's the key to getting your card. Information, resources, and in the end, if you're qualified, a medical card. Call toll-free right now, 855-DOC-CERT. That's 855-DOC-CERT. It's GetPotID.com. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. Hey, Steve Greene here for the medical marijuana certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The Greene Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
I like it. I like the Christmas theme. It's kind of hip-hoppy. I think this is God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen in a hip-hop style. It is. It's very cool. I don't know. I still like the pop music. Welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show, folks. We're here every Monday through Friday during the week. Try and keep it that way. Keep you abreast of what's going on in the community and what's happening. Look, last night I was... let me just draw this back full circle here for a second. The Medical Marijuana Radio Show appears on the Medical Marijuana Radio Network. And we've been calling it the Medical Marijuana Radio Network since we went on the air back in April. When we first went on the air, we had another station. I'll tell you who they were. It's WUPS up in Houghton Lake, agreed to put this program on their airwaves. WUPS, mind you, is a station I was on when I was a kid. That station is a 100,000-watt juicer, man. That thing pumps juice from east coast to west across the state of Michigan. And is in the heart of central Michigan. I'm talking Houghton Lake. If you're in the mitten, it's right underneath your middle finger. In the palm of your hand, that's where it's at. And I'm telling you, it covers from Traverse City on down to just north of Saginaw. So it's all of northern Michigan, pretty much, except for the UP. And they used to have an AM station, too. They've since sold off the AM. Anyways, WUPS first. So this is one of the reasons we were going to be the Medical Marijuana. We wanted to be on other stations. We wanted to syndicate the show. But in the absence of any political goodwill, and then also in some places like Traverse City where they just completely drowned the airwaves with medical marijuana ads and actually got themselves a ban. They actually had to institute their own ban in Traverse City on medical marijuana advertising on the radio. Because every single ad on every single station was medical marijuana for a little while there. And nobody else, none of the McDonald's wanted to come on anymore because the commercials wrapped around them. Look, I'm loving it. Was wrapped around with, Dr. Cush's grow shop and Mary Jane's, dispensary. And so they had a hard time with that. So this is the climate that we went on the air with. And so UPS backed out. They thought there was, there's some language here we're not real comfortable with, and I don't blame Cindy up there for jumping off. I wonder what happened to her, though, because I keep giving her updates about the show, and she's since given me the nose in the air. She's since given me the high snub. So that's okay, Cindy. Look, we were just trying to bring you some bucks up there because we've got an audience. You want part of the audience? We were just trying to help you out. I think she was worried about offending kids. I don't know. The station up there is a little strange. When you get into northern Michigan, the people that run radio stations up there are often run by individuals, and they have some small groups of people that determine what gets on the air and what doesn't and how things happen. And apparently they got a station engineer up there at WUPS in Houghton Lake who was not aligned to he wasn't on board with they're a music station, and I was giving them lots of bumps and kudos for taking on the challenge of putting on a 1-hour talk show on a Saturday in the middle of a music format. That was great news. But right before we went on the air, it was in fact when our station engineers in Detroit were getting a call. They were supposed to call UPS so that they could test the lines to make sure that the feed was coming in okay. And when they did that, UPS jumped off. They said, "Oh no, we're not going to do this. We're going to wait for you're on the air for a little while, and then can't even get on the phone now." So whatever. That's the climate that we went up in. As it relates, what the MMRN is now is it's a lot of it's on the internet. But more importantly, and getting to my point here, look, I'm still on camera. I forgot to put myself on camera. Good God. Mr. Ugly. So the idea of this now has been transformed into the following. And I'll give you play a little segment for you now. We're going to be carrying all of the medical marijuana-related internet programming on this channel right here at RadioWeedShow.com. You'll be able to find all of them that are willing to participate. And I think there would be no good reason why anybody would not want to participate. So, give you an example. This is from the weekend of the weekend of 11/30, or the week of 11/30. 11/30's week, because it doesn't start the week. This was shortly after Thanksgiving. But let me show you what I'm talking about, because this is the kind of thing that you'll find as fair on this program when this show is not on. You'll find other shows from other places. That's the Medical Marijuana Radio Network. And in some cases, TV network. Because here's the example I want to play for you. Here we go.
I guess that was a sneak preview. All right, totally off topic there. Getting back to the seminar, after we've been inundated with that. Yes, the medical marijuana seminar, clearing the air, really thinking that this would be unbiased information that would help law enforcement do their job. You know, how do they handle patients? What do they do when they come across a caregiver's garden? How do they make sure that someone who has paperwork, that they're legit, you know, if they don't have a card yet? You know, well, these are basic things you'd think that would be covered. In going through the information that was given out at this meeting, looking at the information that was covered, basics were covered. You know, let's start at the top here. We've got, you know, a total list of the patients participating,
So there you go. There you get the idea. This is the FlintTalkRadio.com Genesee CCC Compassion Club show. We'll get back on the air here. Since the program is this is the end of Hour 1, guys. Hour 2 still to come. But we're going to be carrying other shows in their entirety on the Medical Marijuana Radio Network. Look for that coming soon. We'll talk next hour about nominations, how to get people nominated for the Medical Marijuana Achievement Awards. We'll try and get Rick Thompson from Big Daddy's. Man, he's a busy guy. Try and get him on the phone to tell you about what's going on with the closure of the Chesterfield Township location and where are they going now. Looks like we told you about that in the paper. I'd like to have him tell you about that. If you want to call the program, 810-423-2350. We'll see you next hour on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show and RadioWeedShow.com are trademarks. Copyright 2011.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
This is the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
Countdown to launch. It's the Medical Marijuana
Launch commit.
Radio Show.
Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Power cleared.
Got a roll program. The Medical Marijuana Radio Show is a production of the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855-MMM Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. Hey. You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855-MMM Radio. Keep it legal.
Hey, live on Detroit in 1310, Detroit's Progressive Talk. Denise will come back this weekend.
Okay, Steve is the host with the co-host Denise. Starting at noon Saturdays every week. Yes, we keeping you legal. Legislators and lawyers, doctors and the growers. The show is for the people. Michigan medical marijuana, no hassle. We talk about anything, any issue we can handle. Call us up and let us know what is on your mind. And make sure when you do it legal every time. Hey.
Welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. It's another great day in Michigan. Sunshiny here today, lots of warmth. Holiday spirit to spread around. It's the 8th of December, 2011. I'm Steve Greene, patient and caregiver, medical marijuana advocate, friend, patriot, inventor, producer, idea man. Oh, look, there's not much that can break that I can't fix. Except for maybe advertising of this show. I don't know about that. Good Lord. That and the magical poker, the little glass poker that goes inside your concentrates thing, if that thing breaks, I probably can't fix that either. Okay, there's a lot of stuff I can't fix. I'll just say that. Welcome to the show, guys. If you want to call the program, 810-423-2350. There's lots of stuff to talk about. You know what? I should probably give Mike a call. Mike is the guy that's putting together our web store, and I rarely get a chance to touch base with him, at least on the air here, and rarely actually off the air at all. Mike's a busy guy. He's just starting to put this web store for us together. We'll give him a call here in moments. Before we get to him, we'll see if we can reach Hoss. Hoss is the bounty hunter. Okay, ex-bounty hunter. They gave him beanbags, pepper spray, and a stun gun instead of his guns to go out there and wrangle up the people the police won't chase around. Put your Tech 9 down because I've got a stun gun. That's what the ATF wants to do. Because Hoss is a medical marijuana patient.
Hello.
Hoss, it's Steve Greene from the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. We're live on the air. Can you talk to us?
Yeah, a little bit.
Sure. Did I catch you at a bad time, buddy?
No, I'm just trying to get the instructions on. They got a conference tonight online, a live teleclass with an attorney, Leonard Faring, about DUI and marijuana.
Yeah, you were reading that off the Safer Mich Google Groups thing, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is that tonight? Because I didn't see that.
Yep, it's at 9 Eastern time for us, and I just now got my verification, so I will be on that tonight.
You're going to be part of the teleconference.
Well, I'm going to write an email. I don't know if I'll get chosen, but I'm going to listen to what people got to say.
You had a chance to read into it more. I was live on the air reading the story on the air, and I didn't read the whole story because it's too much. Can you give us a synopsis of what that thing is? Because maybe I want to join in. Maybe other people want to join in.
Alrighty, just a second. I'll bring the whole page.
Well, don't read it to us because I could do that. I mean, just what you thought. Off the top of your head, what did you pull out of it?
The whole thing of it is they're going to be explaining to us about how long it is between when you tell a cop and get pulled over that you have smoked, if you're going to be treated as a criminal or a patient.
Right. This is about how to engage with a police officer when you get pulled over.
Right. And the question I'm writing in on is, where is the draw line? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 30 days, 90 days?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you know what my answer to that question is, when do you pull out the medical marijuana card? Is that the question?
No. When do they draw the line on when do they find you DUID?
Okay, here's just my understanding to that, is at least as it relates in Oakland County, because I think in Oakland County it may be a little different than in other places right now. And I'm not an attorney, so you can't quote me on this. Maybe I should get Neil Rockhind on the phone and see if he can't, because Neil's got the case in hand right now. He's the guy he's the one that's established the case law in Oakland County with regards to proving impairment with a DUI where they found metabolites in your system or any active THC at all. Active or even just metabolites, which would be inactive. Leftovers after burning up the THC in your system. They have to prove impairment here in Oakland County, at least in Oakland County. And this may be precedent for other places, but at least my understanding is in Oakland County, if you get pulled over, they have to show impairment. They can't just rail you for DUI under the zero tolerance law. Here in Michigan, we have a zero tolerance. And let me just explain what that means. If you have THC in your system, THC is a Schedule I controlled substance. It has no legitimate value. It can't be used at all. And so in Michigan, what they've said is we have zero tolerance for this substance being in your system as a driver. It doesn't matter if you're impaired or not. You're not allowed to have it, period. We're going to take your license. We're going to prosecute you as a DUI, as if you were a drunk driver or somebody operating under the influence of drugs. And if you're taking Vicodin, they don't have to do that. If you're taking Vicodin, you could be hopped up on Vicodin all day long. You could have so much Vicodin to kill an elephant. But unless they prove impairment, they can't get you for operating while under the influence of drugs. They have to prove impairment. They have to put you through the tests to say that, no, you're physically impaired. And so we're going to get you that way. With pot, they don't have to do it. At least that's been the case. They didn't have to prove impairment. They could just say it's in your system. Here's proof of it. It's been in your system for 30 days. Maybe you're not high now, but you had it. And so we've got evidence of it. You're guilty. That's what it was. And Neil Rockine said under equal protection in the Constitution, you can't do that. That's what he argued in court. And he said that if you're a guy that's taking a medicine, even though it's only approved, it is approved at the federal level as a certain scheduled narcotic, it's still a medicine. It's an authorized medicine. In this state, and remember, we're arguing state law here. In this state, because we passed the Medical Marijuana Act, it by, how do they call it? By it alluded to the rescheduling of marijuana because in Michigan, it's also a Schedule I substance, no legitimate use, under the Michigan Controlled Substance Act. But in Michigan, because the people passed it as an approved medication through the Medical Marijuana Act, it's inferred that it's been reclassified. That's what the judge in this Neil Rockine case has determined, that you can't just get impairment based on a substance detection in your system. You have to prove it. And so you can't just get it another. Now, I don't know if, in fact, this has, any precedent-setting ability in other places. I'm glad I live in Oakland County. I'm glad that they can't nail that on me like this now. But this thing that Haas is talking about, this seminar, is, number one, it's more of a national thing. It's not going to talk about Michigan law. But what it is going to do is tell you how to engage with a police officer in the event that you've been encountered on the streets and, in your car, and you've been pulled over, and he says, hey, I smell pot. What do you do now? Because a lot of people will talk their way into jail. That's what the article I read says. A lot of people will go right to jail because of their mouths, not because of what the cop did, but because of what you said. And that gave him a key, a gateway into a place that could then get you in trouble. And so the way you keep the key locked up is you don't give it to him. You keep your lips shut. And so I have a feeling that that's really what this seminar is going to be about. Is what do you say to the cop when, do you tell him you have a card? And I'd say that the answer to that question, if he says right away about the pot thing, you don't tell him about the card right away. I mean, you tell him you must be mistaken, officer. Tell him anything. Or I've been burning in some incense earlier. You're smelling incense. You're not smelling pot. Let him argue with you a little bit. But I have a feeling that this guy wants to teach you about that, how to engage. And I think it's an important thing. You should learn how to engage a police officer. And I teach patients this. This comes from Steph Scherer. Those guys have spent a lot of time over at Americans for Safe Access. My own patients, I teach them when you leave here, this is what, if you have an encounter with the police after you leave here for any reason, you don't say a word about who I am, who you are, what's going on, what's not going on. You just shut the hell up. Let them, and if they want to ask you further, any more questions, tell them you need a lawyer. If you want to talk to me any further, if you've got an investigation to conduct and you feel like you've got to conduct it, officer, you'll not get anything further out of me unless my lawyer's present. So you want to hassle me here further, or do you want to call my lawyer? But the moment you say anything about anything, hey, do you know that guy in there? Don't even say that. Hey, what's going on in there? Don't say a word. The same thing goes where if you've just obtained marijuana from one of your people, you don't want to tell them anything. Hang on 1 second, Haas. We got Rick Thompson calling in. Can you stand by?
Yep.
Okay, hang on 1 second. We're going to merge the calls together. Rick Thompson, Steve Greene, we're on the air, by the way.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for letting me know so I don't say anything inappropriate.
Look, guys, who got themselves in trouble? That's okay, because I won't say it now. Because the episode is lost. Somebody got themselves in trouble accidentally on the air yesterday. And I was like, oh, no, you didn't just say that? Whoa, I told you when you called we're on the air. He's like, oh, we are? Oh, crap. Oh, well, I won't say that about that person again. Hang on, I got Haas on the line. I'll merge the lines. You know Haas, don't you, Rick?
Oh, for sure. Haas and I are good friends.
Yeah, so here we go. Haas, Rick Thompson, Haas, good friends. Hello?
Hi, you're Rick.
Hey, Haas. Glad to talk to you again.
So I saw the story. Haas and I were just talking about an article that we read that came across the Google Groups list, the Safermish list, about a seminar tonight, a video teleconference that Haas is going to engage with if he can, and I'll probably tune in too, with Officer, where is it, Haas? Where's this coming out of? Is it Montana? Where's it at?
I have to bring it up. You told me not to bring it up.
I can't. It doesn't matter. It's in another state. But it's an ex-judge, and he's going to go on there and tell people about what to do, how to engage with a police officer. If you've been pulled over and he says, I smell pot, what do you do now? I think everybody needs to know the answer to that question, and I'm not sure that if you ask yourself that question that you know the right one. I probably do, and I think Rick does. Haas, do you know the answer? Haas doesn't know, or he wouldn't be looking at this teleconference. But it's a good...
It just says Mountain Time.
What's that?
It just says 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Yeah, so that sounds like it could be in that area, the Montana area.
Mountain Time for everybody is 2 hours behind our time. So if it's 5 o'clock our time, then it'll be 3 o'clock Mountain Time. So if it's 6 o'clock Mountain Time, then that would broadcast at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard.
Right. I think it's going to be 7 Mountain, so it's going to be 9 Eastern, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for all of those who might have trouble translating the time zones.
And what we'll do is we'll put a link up immediately. Oh, yeah. See, I can't do that because our web guy's busy working today at the church. See what our web guy does? He rolls up his sleeve and helps people, too, at the church. I think it's a great thing.
Fantastic, sure.
So I can't put the link up, but what I'll do is before the end of the program, I will put it up on the graphics I'll look up the link on the email and I'll put it up on the graphics on the very program you're watching now or listening to. Look at the screen. Dang it! You know, we got to go to break, guys. Can you hang on a second? I hate to do this. I know Rick's probably working and probably packing and everything else, aren't you, Rick?
Unfortunately, yes, I am.
Oh, good Lord. If you guys can stand by for just a second, I hate to do it to you, but, we're packaged up in segments. We got to go to break. Can you hang on with us?
Sure, we can.
We'll be right back. It's more to come right here on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Call 810-423-2350.
Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. The Patient's Place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402.
The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Time to decorate the tree. Hang up the mistletoe. Give gifts. Keep that chimney clean. Santa's on his way.
Hey, welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Santa is on his way. Even if it's got Snoop Dogg attached.
Deck the halls with bout of holly.
Fa la 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 la. I love it. Hey, you guys can't hear the Christmas music, but I stayed up all night last night working out Christmas rejoins for the show. Hello? Can you hear us? Hello? Oh, you know what? Damn it. I didn't plug the phone in. Sorry, guys. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
There we go. Sorry about that. I was just tapping my toes to the Christmas theme music. I stayed up all night last night working out Christmas rejoins for the show. So there you go. A little Snoop Doggy for you there. So welcome back to the show. We were talking about bring us back to center, guys. I was talking about the thing that Haas was looking at on the Safer Mich Google Groups list before we went to break. This is a judge who's putting together some kind of a teleconference about how to engage with police officers. If you get pulled over and they say they smell pot, what do? And so I did what I said I was going to do during the commercial break. Unfortunately, it's a really long link. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the bottom of the screen right now. I'll try and read it for you because it's really small lettering because it's such a long link. But if you are unable to get this and you want it from me, email me, steve@radioweedshow.com. I'll email you back this link if you want to be involved with the program tonight. You'd have to do it before, like 8 o'clock or so, because I think you have to request permission to get in. And they probably have to assign you that permission. So, again, here it is. It's http:// it's cannabistherapyinstitute.com /classes. You know what? It's too small. I can't even read it. It's too, and you probably won't be able to read it either. Email me. I'll mail you the link if you need it. Haas is getting in. I think I'm going to try and get in. I don't know. Rick's going to be busy probably. Rick, you were busy last night on Planet Green Trees, weren't you?
Yep, I sure was. It was a fun night. We had a great musical guest, and Professor Whitty was there to talk about the Police Chief Isaiah McKinnon and his recent statements in support of legalization of marijuana.
I heard Rick Simpson calling in.
He certainly did. It was a bit of a bad connection, but it's always good. That was the second week in a row that Rick Simpson's actually spoken on the program, so it was quite exciting. They're going to start doing a little bit different format there on Planet Green Trees with some pre-recorded segments, a little bit more structure, a little more informative, so that we can make sure that everything gets through and that we take all of the callers that come in. There's nothing worse than calling into a program and waiting to talk, and then the program ends and you're left disappointed on the line.
Hey, you know how many times I used to call Rush Limbaugh's show when I was a kid trying to get through? I figured out eventually that the call screener had me blocked. No, that kid's got something to say that's not going to be good for Rush.
I can believe that. I'm not sure I'd have anything that Rush Limbaugh would want to say either.
No, exactly. Well, I couldn't figure out why I could get, actually, because I would spend hours. Look, I'd be working at a construction job, and I'd pull away from the construction job at risk of being fired to go to a payphone and call and hang on the hold line to try to talk to Rush because I just disagreed with what he had to say, and here's why. And the call screener had me locked out. There was no way I was getting through that phone line. Anyway.
Well, Rush Limbaugh certainly did raise a lot of hackles for a lot of years. And similar to that, Robert Downey was also another one of those type guys that predated Howard Stern, that created controversy over opinions without having to show topless girls shaving midgets and things like that. So,
good Lord.
The shock jocks really had a heyday, so to speak. And those guys definitely were part of that. But they created a possibility for other people to come behind it, as many of us in the medical marijuana community and in the marijuana legalization community are doing for those that will come behind us.
Well, and we're doing an important thing, Rick. Can you give us the news? Because we already kind of laid the news on people as we read it in the story, in the paper. And, Haas, I don't want to leave you out of this conversation either. But let Rick tell us what happened, because there was an announcement that came out today, yes?
An announcement that came out today?
Well, according to the paper, it said they announced today that you guys are going to move out of Chesterfield Township.
Oh, well, yeah, that's actually the paper just figured it out today, but we've talked about that for a little bit. And I'm not sure exactly how out of Chesterfield Township we're going to be at this point. Right now, the public nuisance suit prohibits us from exchanging cannabis or possessing cannabis in the building itself, and also paraphernalia too. That's one that's really difficult for us to figure out because there's no reason for paraphernalia to be excluded.
I don't get that one at all. What are they pulling a Detroit on you?
Yeah, I think they're they're saying that there may be some kind of an obscure law in Macomb County that prevents something like that. And when you're convinced, when you're guilty of a nuisance lawsuit, they can do a lot of different things to you that may not be appropriate. So in that instance, we have to change operations here. So it's currently open as a hydroponic store and still giving physicians recommendations and referrals and things of that nature here. But you can't maintain the facility for long doing that.
Right.
We're in the process of packing up most of our equipment and moving ourselves out. to divide ourselves up amongst the other locations that we still have, our Burton location, and then also our Detroit location as well.
And you're going to be doing the Big Daddy's, the 4M magazine stuff out of Burton now?
Now, I myself will be located out of the Burton location. Of course, our corporate headquarters will still be Detroit. So we'll still be producing the magazine, and really the person that does the magazine is Katie Fontana. She deserves all the credit for it. She's the one that does the graphic design and layout and things of that nature. And what I do as an editor and as a writer and as a photographer is really secondary to creating the magazine to what she does.
Right.
And that's where she'll be at. So I always consider wherever Katie's at to be the home of the magazine.
Well, so I actually was playing. I played, because the announcement came through this morning, and I assumed that this was probably going to be what happened. Is you guys couldn't stick around there, but I played the military marching band from Arlington National Cemetery. I played the Taps theme in the background. It was Amazing Grace and Taps, because what else are you going to do? I mean, I know Bill Schuette raised a gravestone there. I mean, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did. And the thing that and of course I'm sure we talked about this before, and I'm sure it's been mentioned on your program previously, is that the judge at the time of trial did not seem to be feeling this way. He was outraged at the tactics used by the plaintiff. He did not think that the township could utilize the resources appropriately, nor did he agree with the Attorney General's participation, and felt like that they had utilized the privilege of office in a way that he did not have access to, and as a judge who's responsible for the safety of the community, he felt outraged about that. And of course, under oath, the chief of police admitted that there were never any complaints whatsoever lodged with him against Big Daddy. In face of that evidence, how could he possibly come up with this ruling unless he had some kind of outside influence knocking on his door?
Rick, I just wanted to play, if you don't mind, I'm going to take just a second to play this bit off the TV last night, because when I heard him say these words, my head nearly exploded on its shoulders. Because, our Attorney General is a fairly bright guy, and I'm not saying that I'm smarter than a guy with a law degree. I'm not going to say that, because, the guy's gone to school and such. I've gone to school, but I did take some law classes. I don't have a degree. I'm not a member of the bar. I'm certainly not the AG. But when the AG, and mind you, let me preface this with, the AG is responsible for, issuing advisory opinions. They're kind of pastovers. They're stopgap measures to give some kind of direction about something until something can be decided in court. So he has to issue these opinions from time to time. But sometimes they get a little bit clever about the way that they go about issuing these opinions. So when he goes on Wood TV and talks about, and it's just more of the same old dribble. It's more of the same old, it's the same stuff he was running around at these Bill Schuette seminars, the Clearing the Air seminars he held in 4 places throughout the state last month. It's more of this dribble about, pot shops and, the voters didn't vote for this and the voters didn't vote for that. I'm just wondering how many heads you got into, Mr. Schuette. How big of a psychic are you that you know what the voters wanted to vote for? But
if you take a look at what his particular public statements were prior to the election, he said himself, and Steve, I know you've seen these quotes on it before, and Hoss, I know you have also too, that Bill Schuette said, this law will allow pot shops to open, California-style pot shops to open on every corner. If you pass this law, it means you are going to have this happening in your name. Everything he predicted is actually what came true, because that's what the law does allow. Now he wants to say that it doesn't. So,
right. Well, this is
more than obvious.
Well, this is the traditional flip-flop. It's easy to ride both sides of the fence. So Republicans do this a lot when it comes down to the state rights, federal rights thing. It's convenient to, when you're talking about guns, states' rights, states' rights, states' rights. But when you're talking about pot, federal rights, oh, that's a federal law. You got, see, you can't ride both sides of the fence. It's all, you're either pregnant or you're not. You can't be halfway.
Well, frankly, riding both sides of the fence sounds very painful, considering, where your leg's falling out of the side. So.
Well,
bad move to begin with.
Well, I'd say the AG's got enough balls to go around, so, I mean,
I think he's got small berries is what I'm saying.
Well, I just wanted to play this segment because what he said incensed me. Let me see if I can find the piece where he says it right here. You guys won't be able to hear this, but our audience will. Stand by.
Has had to deal with more than once the status of the medical marijuana law.
Don't talk. Hang on, guys.
He says the law was sold as a way to deal with chronic disease and end-of-life issues. Instead, he says it has been, quoting here, pirated and hijacked.
People didn't vote to have dispensaries near churches. People didn't vote to have greater access of drugs near schools. And so the point is, when there's a law that was poorly crafted, has caused lots of problems in communities. So my job's to interpret the law. And I think the...
Okay, now that's the part that I was pissed off about right there. Look, I got to play it again. He says, my job is to interpret the law. And it's not his job to interpret the law. His job is to enforce the law. Just play it again one more time for you. Here we go.
Law that was poorly crafted has caused lots of problems in communities. So my job's to interpret the law.
Okay, so there you go. My job is to interpret the law. And so, and Rick laughed about this in the email because it's absolutely true. I mean, how high are you? Do you still think that you're a judge? Because judges interpret the law. You're part of the executive branch. The executive branch enforces the law. So let's just be clear about that. I don't care if you issue advisory opinions or not. You're not a lawmaker, you're not a legislator, and you're not here to interpret the law. That's what you did before, Mr. Schuette.
The fact is that they are allowed to write these opinions, but those opinions only stand until a judge rules on them.
Because that's the body that handles it. It's the judicial branch that interprets the law.
Correct. So your opinion is not an actual binding interpretation of law. It only is a temporary idea or guideline for us to use until it's actually determined by court. So for Bill Schuette to say it's his job to interpret the law, that's absolutely untrue. We don't allow officers on the roadside to interpret what it means to be a speeder. We don't allow officers in the field to interpret what it means to break and enter. They present the facts, and then a higher authority decides what charges to file. They don't. The police officer on the scene doesn't decide that. And similarly, the Attorney General was not empowered to make those decisions too. Just like the Attorney General was not empowered to tell somebody whether they are or are not qualified to use medical marijuana.
Thank you. But he seems to try to want to have that effect, doesn't he, Rick? Look, unless you're dying, unless it's the end of your days, and then if it is, you got to wait 5 months. If you're already dying, don't worry about it because you're not going to get any marijuana anyways, because you can't get it from a dispensary.
You know tons of stories of people too. I want to get you involved in the conversation.
Please do. I don't want to leave Haas off.
But you know tons of stories of patients and folks that you've worked with at some of the different demonstrations and the protests and the different events you've been at, like the true warrior that you are, you and Tiny. You know a lot of stories of people that have been benefited from this that are now afraid to re-register for the program because of what Schuette's done. Isn't that true?
Yes, sir.
Give us something more than just yes, sir.
Please.
What I've been holding back on had to do with DUIs.
Well, then let's go for it. Go ahead.
Okay. When we were talking earlier about the DUI in the seminar that's going to be on tonight, an incident that we just had happened 2 nights ago in our county. A guy had his medical marijuana card, but he got pulled over for drinking and driving and give the cops a hard time. And they took him to the hospital and drawed his blood. Now his attorney just told him today they'll probably get him for buzz driving too because he admitted that he medicated earlier that day. So
you see, in Oakland County, that's not possible anymore, at least as it relates to case law. Because Neil Rockine got a case that says, no, it's equal protection under the Constitution. You can't treat a guy that's taking one medicine and treat him differently than taking another medicine. In this state, we've approved this medicine, so we've actually inferred that we've repealed Schedule 1 to schedule something else because of the inference by passage of the Medical Marijuana Act. That's what Neil has gotten a local judge to agree with him on, and it's binding case law until it's gone to appeal.
Well, that's true. It's binding case law through that particular district.
It's just in Oakland County.
Well, that depends on how big the district is. Now, Oakland County incorporates several different districts.
Right. This is just that circuit court or that district court.
Which is a shame because it's a fantastic victory that Neil Rockine won for our side, and he's to be applauded for that, and also the plaintiff in that for having the guts to go forward with it instead of just taking a plea.
Right.
But the fact is that may not affect law in Tuscola or in Shiawassee counties or even within other counties too. It's based upon the judge's willingness to listen to that as an argument to make the decision whether or not that case law affects their particular circumstance.
Now,
that's a shame, too.
What they can do, however, though, now that Neil has got this precedent set in Oakland County, they can use that case and cite that case as precedent in another county to try and get the same kind of ruling made there.
I would agree with that, too. When your legal team prepares briefs to present to the judge for that case, they can cite this as one of the recent case laws and interpretations of the Medical Marijuana Act. It's actually kind of pretty embarrassing when one judge in one district comes up with a conclusion and then another judge in another district has a completely different conclusion. Judges don't like to contradict people in that. They like to keep the rule of law to be as uniformly applied as possible. So they do definitely take those into consideration, but it would not force them to throw out any kind of an intoxicated driving condition.
Yeah, and that's an important thing to take note of. Go ahead, Haas.
But an answer on one judge that's a Republican to another judge that's a Democrat, can there not be a difference in their decisions?
Yeah,
absolutely. In fact, we've seen district court judges in Wayne County say that the whole Medical Marijuana Act is illegal because it violates federal law, and then we see judges in Oakland County on a district level say that the Medical Marijuana Act is not only legal, but it changes the status of marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. So there can be many different interpretations of the law based in different courts.
And our Attorney General is trying to narrow that stuff down as much as possible so that he gets his favorable, when I say favorable, in his favor, ruling in these cases.
Right. And I think what we all would like would be to see that everybody gets treated the same and everybody gets treated fairly, as long as the way that they're being treated comports to the protections that are given by the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act. And what Bill Schuette wants is for everybody to be treated the same, but just like it's 2007 all over again. He's living Groundhog Day, from 2007 over and over and over. Haas, you're trying to get something in there. What are you trying to say there, Haas?
You answered it on that.
Did I? I'm bad. That's right. Yeah. So.
I love it. I think it is an important question to answer, though, because it's one that I run these through my head as little test case scenarios. Okay, the police are here. What do you do now? You know what I mean? You got to start figuring. You got to put yourself through those paces because you may need to answer those questions in reality one day.
In 2010, I was privileged to be part of a focus group that was represented. Cushionberry put together a group that was headed by a Representative Fred Durhall. And Durhall's statement and sticks with me to this day, even though it was over a year ago when we met to discuss this. And he said it's that 3 a.m. question you have to ask yourself.
That's right.
3 a.m. where the police officer has you at the side of the road, and he's looking at what you've got for identification in there. Is he going to think that you're a legitimate person and release you, or is he going to hold you overnight? Because at 3 a.m., they're not going to wake up a judge and make a decision on something like that. They're going to make it at the roadside.
Right. You guys can't hear it again, but we are at break time. I gotta cut to break. We'll be right back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Don't go away, guys.
Got something to say?
Call now toll free 855-MMRN Radio. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. It's the holiday season when we look back in our lives, when we're spending time with our families, where we look back and appreciate the things that have happened throughout the year, and then look forward to the things that are coming. So it's in that spirit of the holiday season that the Medical Marijuana Radio Show proudly announces the first annual Michigan Medical Marijuana Achievement Awards. This is a time where you can honor somebody who's rolled up their sleeves and done something good for the community. The Achievement Awards are a fundraiser. Go ahead, do it right now. Nominate a friend for an award at RadioWeedShow.com. Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. Medical marijuana certification. And now you can find out everything you need to know online at getpotid.com. Or write down this toll-free number, 855-DOC-CERT. A friendly specialist will direct you to our Farmington Hills office. Medical marijuana certification. GetPotID.com. It's the key to getting your card. Information, resources, and in the end, if you're qualified, a medical card. Call toll-free right now, 855-DOC-CERT. That's 855-DOC-CERT. It's GetPotID.com. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069.
The real conclusion here is if citizens of the state of Michigan want to have a discussion and maybe a vote or a debate on legalizing drugs, go ahead, let's have that. Now, I'm opposed to that because I think that it gives gateway drugs to kids. I think it and really would mean easy access for young people to get hooked on drugs. So I'd be opposed to it.
I mean, come on, folks. Does this sound like a conservative Republican to you? Or a crackpot?
I'm voting crackpot, folks. Welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. I couldn't help but play that little segment from Bill Schuette there. You guys couldn't hear it on the phone, but our audience did. I love to play the crackpot thing from Bill Schuette. By the way, you guys, I mentioned this on the show earlier. I got to put the graphics back up. There we go. Mentioned this on the show earlier. By the way, for people just tuning in, we're live in Detroit. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Thanks for tuning in. We got on the phone with us Hoss, the ex-bounty hunter, or, currently not employed bounty hunter because the ATF took his guns away and gave him beanbags, pepper spray, and a stun gun. To fight against the guys with weapons, the same guys that police won't chase down because they're in violation of some bounty bail. Hoss does T-shirts, and we also have on the phone with us the editor of 4M Magazine and spokesperson for Big Daddy's Management Group, Rick Thompson. Welcome to get back to the show, guys. Hello? Oh, wait a minute. It helps if are we plugged all the way in here? Are you guys there? Can we talk to you? Hello? Can you hear us now?
I can hear you now.
Hey, there we go. We weren't all the way plugged in.
You did a great introduction, though, Steve. So that was fine. We heard that.
Well, thanks. We try and keep it down on the mean and the green here at the radio station. So we were talking before. Let me just draw this back for a full circle about the iTunes thing and. What was that? There was something. I lost a point here. Boy, I get on a train there and I get side railed and I forget what the hell I was talking about. Oh, good Lord, it's a train wreck. So the thing was, we were talking earlier about the music. Okay, I told everybody and I told people on the Google Group Safer-Mish list that I released this song on iTunes, and I just got a thing back saying that, hey, you were about to release your song, but you got to fix the artwork. So I was worried they were going to kick back the song because there are some rights to the music that I was worried about, and technically I'm still in violation of the rights on the music. I don't know how to draw it back now, but it is going to get released. I just got to fix the artwork. So look for the Bill Schuette song. I cannot release the Crackpot song. I've been denied permission. I can't do it. The people that do the music part said, no, you can't allow third-party use. That means I can't give it to you. I can add to it and let you guys hear it, but I can't let you physically have it yourself. So I'm going to find new music to do the Crackpot song by. But I've already released the other song, the Bill Schuette song. So look for that coming soon on iTunes. As soon as we get the artwork fixed so that it meets their specs, you'll find that for 99 cents. I think it'll be fun. Sorry about the guys over there at Megatrax. I don't know what to do without those guys. Anyway, that was the thing that I wanted to say there. Also, so if you're going to tune in to be a part of this thing tonight about the cops, what to do when the cops pull you over and say, I smell pot. We'll have some how are we going to do this? How are we going to get people linked up that way, Haas? I have them email me. Email me. I'll send you the link if you want to do that. Steve@radioweedshow.com. For you guys listening on the iTunes podcast, if you're not listening live, this doesn't matter to you. If you're listening live, send us a link or send us an email. We'll send you the link.
I've already did it, and they want $4.99 for it. But if you put a code in, I'm broke, it will give it to you for free, and then it'll send you an email within 3 minutes of the phone number and the number you got to punch in to be on the conference. And then down below, there's a thing where you can write in on what you want to talk about, and that's how they're going to go by the emails ahead of time. They're going to filter through and call up, the person's name while you're on the phone listening to everything tonight.
So it's an important question to know the answer to. Is I smell pot. What are you doing? That's a scary question. Because what if you're not smoking pot? What if you just got clothes on because you were around people that had some pot? Or maybe you're a grower. You don't even smoke pot. You're just a caregiver. You're going to smell like pot because you grow it. You got to know the answer to this question. And hopefully these people can teach you the right one. Because I'm not an attorney. I can give you all kinds of advice and I can tell you what I do, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing to do.
I've seen a lot of literature that talks about not submitting to any searches and seizures and things of that nature. But this is a more specific question that's pretty much unique to us. And considering the face of Michigan and how the interpretation of the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act is, this is a more important question to have the right answer to than ever before.
Look, when the police came in here and I let them in the door, and again, this is not something I would ever suggest you should do for yourself. I took that course of action because it was the one that I thought was the right one to do, and it worked for me. But I let them in the door, and then they rooted through here and wanted me to sign this consent to search. Long story short, while they were kicking stuff around in here, because believe me, they made a mess of the place. It was messy already, but I don't know how you could make a bigger mess of what was already a mess, but they did. And kicking around stuff, and they found some bags of trim. And the cop was like, "Hey, what about this? What about the trim?" And the one cop responded immediately, "Hey, I don't care who you are. If you were running around with I don't care if that was in your trunk of your car or not. You're going to jail if I find that in your car." So this is the kind of mentality you got with these police. And this is what they're looking to do to you. They're looking to rack you up. They're going to try and take your license away. They're going to try and call you a criminal. They're going to try and make a case out of distribution if they can get that out of you. They're going to throw the book at you if they can do it.
Well, this is absolutely a problem. And we have a lot of folks out there that think that when it says dried usable marijuana, that their curing marijuana is not what they consider dried usable, and therefore it's not going to count against them on their weight. And that's absolutely untrue. The police officers are going to come in, and if it's not still continually growing, if it's cut, they're going to consider that dried usable, regardless of whether it is or isn't.
Well, and here's the thing, because by the time it shows up in court, it's going to be dry anyways, isn't it?
It's absolutely, that's true. Plus, they're going to photograph it, and then sometimes they destroy it because they're only required to hold it for a certain amount of time. So there's a lot of reasons why that's not a protection that people may have thought that it was. This is one of the reasons why, as we were speaking to Haas on the break, that there's an important movement going on right now with a couple of governors from states that are petitioning the federal government to have marijuana reclassified so that the penalties for simple possession or for use are not nearly as dramatic as they are for Schedule I drugs.
It takes the incentive for police out of this policing for profit, the low-hanging fruit, the rich guys who are not going to fight back thing.
And the other thing it does is it makes sure that if a person in their youth makes a mistake and does something that they're not supposed to do, that the penalty corresponds to the significance of the crime, which is very low, and it also does not haunt them forever like sometimes these ridiculous felonies do. In addition to that, there are some mandatory minimums for some possessions that really are inappropriate for a 2011 world where we don't have prison space, and where we're thinking more about treatment and less about incarceration than ever before.
And look, if you're trying to appeal to your local legislator, your congressman, or your state legislator, your state senator, remind them that it costs $36,000 a year to keep these nonviolent drug criminals in jail, and that our budget for the State Department of Corrections is nearly $7 billion. If you're looking to save a few dollars, I'd say that's a good place to start.
I would agree. Now, we have to applaud the efforts of the governors of Rhode Island and Washington, and now Governor Christie in New Jersey, for petitioning the federal government for this move. But we also have to put pressure on our governor, Governor Rick Snyder, who won his election to office based on the "we're not going to do things the old-fashioned way" routine. He specifically campaigned on it. Let's do it in a new way. Let's think about it in new ways. Let's look at these problems from a different perspective. But yet, on this very significant issue, he has very much an old school perspective on this. And we have to take him to task for not following the lead of other states that also have medical marijuana laws in place.
Thank you for that input. I just noticed as I'm studying the Attorney General in some of these appearances that he makes, because you notice they're not public appearances. They're not where there's a crowd or a group that can interfere with the questioning going on with a reporter. They seem to be one-on-one private interviews that he does with reporters regarding medical marijuana. And then he does these little campaigns where he's not present and there's some other spokesperson handling stuff for him. He'll do that. But as I've been studying him, part of the thing he says is, look, if you want to have an honest discussion about legalization of drugs in the state, then do it that way. But don't hide behind this skirt tail thing about wink and a nod, da-da-da-da-da. And so, but see, what he's doing is he's trying to recraft the question here, because the question always wasn't a legitimate legalization of drugs. This was about having a legitimate purpose, a use for marijuana as a whole. And you know, he's just against that entirely. But if he changes the question, if he changes the argument to legalize drugs, he understands the polling's a little bit different on that. It plays a little bit better in his favor. So you can tell he's on the wall, he's on the ropes about this, because he wants to turn this into an argument about legalizing drugs. As it relates, does anybody have any news? Because I've seen some stuff. Does anybody have any news about possibly doing such a campaign here in this state? Legalizing it, doing the same thing that we're asking that the governors are asking the feds to do, which is to reclassify it. Are we looking at some possible decriminalization or legalization action going on here, perhaps as it relates to a ballot campaign coming up for 2012? Should we get the signatures?
Well, we actually do have a couple of different potential actions going for 2012. We also have the recall petitions going for Schuette and for Snyder, but there's a potential for a constitutional amendment to be proposed, which would require signatures to be gathered. That's something that's being contemplated on Monday night sessions with down at the Matt Abel's office. A lot of folks have been involved in that. And
at the Cannabis Council building.
Exactly correct. Still in the infancy and in its planning stages. So last night in the Planet Green Cheese broadcast that you mentioned earlier today, Steve, there was something mentioned by Chad Carr that he had seen. Jessica Cooper had mentioned that she would like to reschedule marijuana so that it could be distributed through pharmacies. So the point I'd like to make with this is, and that's first of all the shock, that Jessica Cooper would think that marijuana is actually so benign that it would be able to be sold in pharmacies by licensed physicians.
Oh, wait a second. Now, let us shine a little bit of light on that, Rick, because what I got to say, just maybe be a little bit of laser light on that. Here's a lady who's saying this is so dangerous. He sides with our attorney general, said that this is so dangerous. It endangers, you got pot shops and drug houses opening up next to schools and right around the corner from your local kid. And that's the premise. That's the crux on which they hinge their argument right now. And here's the same person saying, no, let's reschedule it so that we can make it available to your local CVS pharmacy. What an argument is that?
Only to be distributed through pharmacies so that it can still be there, and the state of Michigan can do that. But here's the thing, if it can only be distributed through pharmacies, that means a private caregiver cannot distribute it through his home.
Right. Got to go to break, guys. We got seconds left. Got to go to break. Back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Next on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be the law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Medical marijuana certification. And now you can find out everything you need to know online at getpotid.com. or write down this toll-free number, 855-DOC-CERT. A friendly specialist will direct you to our Farmington Hills office. Medical marijuana certification. GetPotID.com. It's the key to getting your card. Information, resources, and in the end, if you're qualified, a medical card. Call toll-free right now, 855-DOC-CERT. That's 855-DOC-CERT. It's GetPotID.com. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. Hey, Steve Greene here for the medical marijuana certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The Greene Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at MMMGreenBee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Merry Christmas from the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Look, it's a great time of the year. We got a lot to celebrate. I can tell you that, just as it relates, if there's anything good at Christmas time this year for me, it's the garden grow. I can tell you that the garden is the biggest, the baddest, the badassest ever. The Christmas gods have smiled on me this season. Haas, Rick Thompson, you got to come and check out the meds from the garden this year. Oh, my God.
I would love to take advantage of that opportunity, sure.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, I was nowhere nearing this kind of expectation, so just as it relates. Happy. I never got a chance to wish both of you guys a Merry Christmas. I guess I did, too, once. I said Merry Christmas to you, Rick. Merry Christmas to you, Haas.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
Are you going to put on a Santa suit for anybody? Because you're like a big dark-colored Santa.
I'm Scrooge in that department.
I've known you for a while. You're definitely not a Scrooge.
No
way.
Haas is a teddy bear, man.
In college, I played Santa Claus, and it used to hurt my feelings on what a parent would do to get a kid's picture of Santa Claus.
Yeah, that's all. Some kids, for some screaming kids, it is more of a nightmare than it is a pleasure, isn't it? Don't put me on the stinky man's lap with the beard. He's scary.
But it's what the kid leaves behind after the parent picks it up, because they shit, piss, or pants. So.
Good Lord. So, Rick, I've gone and done it to myself. I've derailed myself. I told you during the break I wanted to talk about something. What was it? Remind me, please.
We wanted to talk about the people for the nominations and.
Thank you, because I got it right before you said it. Sometimes I just derail myself. So the Medical Marijuana Awards, it's an achievement awards ceremony, and we wanted to talk about nominations. So Haas, I'm going to dig into my poor pocket, and I'm going to nominate you this year, and I'm also going to nominate Mr. Thompson, or at least the people at Big Daddy's. Because you guys have done some tremendous things. Haas, this is the story really of more people than not in this field. A lot of us are just going broke helping people. Just digging into our pockets, digging into ourselves to make things go around. And I think some people need recognized for it. This is one of the reasons you guys are on the show and why I'm doing the show. I don't want to be nominated for anything. This isn't about credit for me. This is about credit for you, people who need some help. I'm a person that needs help, so I can understand it. I've got a closeness to it. But I think, more importantly, the people who have rolled up their sleeves and done something need to be recognized. And I think this is a good chance to look back and see what we've accomplished throughout the year and the people that have done that accomplishment, and to recognize them for it, and to look forward on the year coming and what we can do, what we're going to do, where we're going to go. This is always what we do as a society at this time of the year. Reflect back and look forward. We make New Year's resolutions, and then we look back at the old news reports and the things that we've accomplished throughout the year. This is a great way to do that for our community. Would you guys agree?
I absolutely do. The other thing I'd encourage people to do is take one of those patients that you know that's not very social, that's always alone, and that doesn't seem like they have a whole lot of family. And let's make sure we include them in the holiday celebrations too. We are unique unto ourselves, is that nobody else is looking out for us but us. So when we have a brother that's maybe down a little bit, let's show him some extra love, and let's see if we can make a holiday season a little bit brighter for those patients out there.
Thank you, because that's what this is all about. Hoss?
And my thing is, if you can afford to go to a protest and that, and you know somebody that can't, bring them along with you.
That's right. Carpool. Bring them from your area. That's right. Bring them in the masses. So if you
remember, go ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. That's all right.
Just going to say, there's a lot of opportunities for people to get out of the house, to get involved in things in the wintertime, December, January. Sometimes people need those Compassion Club meetings. They need that monthly release, otherwise they get the seasonally afflicted disorder put on by the cold winter weather. And it looks, by all accounts, like we're going to have a rough winter this season in Michigan. So our brothers in arms are going to need a little bit more attention and help than before. But see, what you started talking about was recognition for people that have been struggling, that have been putting forth some effort, that really deserve a little pat on the back, right?
Well, yeah, because this is sweat equity. You know, these are people that necessarily couldn't dig into their pockets and contribute, but they did it with action. And I say action is more valuable than money any day anyways. These people that have gone out and adopted highways, these people that have gone out in their local communities and provided for a food gathering mechanism where they've had some kind of donation. Look, if you're coming to the Compassion Club, you can't come in unless you bring 2 cans of food. See, these are the kinds of things that are good for our community, that are good for our neighbors, that are good for our public goodwill. They're just good. It's win, 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 and those are the kinds of things that you want to strive for, is win-win situations. So we need to encourage them, and I think by nominating people for an achievement and then giving somebody an Achievement of the Year award is a great way to go about it. So I just want to direct people how to do that, because they won't be able to do it until probably tomorrow. But you can go to the front page of RadioWeedShow.com, of the upper left-hand corner, and this is where their music begins, guys. The music for the close is beginning now. Go to the upper left-hand corner, and in the upper left-hand corner is a quick link section. You'll find a calendar there. Right under the calendar is to nominate somebody for an achievement award. Click on that link. Tomorrow, you'll be able to fill out the little thing, fill out a form about all the information for the nomination, and then you click the thing that says submit for a, what do they call that, an invoice. Submit for an invoice. So you'll get a $25 PayPal invoice in your email box for each one that you submitted. That submission becomes effective as soon as it's paid for. So that's how you do it. Thanks for coming on the show, guys. Rick Thompson, Haas. We hope that you guys have a happy holiday season, and we'll talk to you sometime soon. Merry Christmas to both of you.
Back at you, Steve. Merry Christmas to you and your staff as well.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm a staff of one. Stand by, Rick. I want to talk to you off air about the awards. All right.
The Radio Show and RadioWeedShow.com are trademarks. Copyright 2011.